City Clerk.
Good morning, Chairman Badon and committee members. I am Joyce Haynes, President of the Louisiana Association of Educators and a 38-year veteran teacher from St. Landry Parish on leave. I would like to speak on behalf of the LAE members. The Louisiana Association of Educators oppose and are in opposition to House Bill 101. HB 101 would take away the ability of school bus drivers to obtain regular and permanent operator status. Most people don't realize how important bus drivers are to the education equation. Across this nation and in small towns in Louisiana, in big cities, and everywhere in between, bus drivers are the first people to greet the children on their way to school and the last to bid them a good night as they drop them off in the evening. School bus drivers have a challenging and comprehensive profession. They must keep up with newly safe requirements, stay abreast of laws and regulations, pass comprehensive skill tests to hold a commercial driver's license, and stay up to date in every changing certification requirements for bus drivers and other commercial motor vehicles. Many school bus drivers view and equate the attainment of a regular and permanent operator as a goal of acquiring professional status, and in most cases use that attainment as a decision-making for that of driving a school bus being a rewarding career for them. Regular and permanent operator does not mean that school bus drivers are guaranteed a right to a lifetime employment. School bus drivers serve a 3-year probationary period. During their probationary period, they are evaluated, and they are evaluated by administrators on their job performance. If after 3 years the local school district grants a school bus driver regular and permanent status, it simply means that the school bus driver is entitled to a just cause due process hearing if there are allegations of wrongdoing. The wrongdoings are usually defined in current law as willful neglect of duty, incompetence, immorality, drunkenness while on duty, failure to comply with certain reporting requirements, physical disability to perform his duty, failure to keep his transfer equipment in safe, comfortable, and practical operating condition. In addition, a regular and permanent school bus operator may be removed due to abolishment or discontinuance or consolidation of routes. Current provisions in law protect the school bus driver from various adverse actions, including protections from false allegations of wrongdoing, protections from political reprisal and nepotism, protection from coercive practices. In obtaining a regular and permanent status, it is not about protecting a bad bus driver. This is about protecting a good bus driver. I will say to you that allow our bus drivers to keep their dignity, allow them to have a decent and proper career, and I will say to you that this is very important. It's very important that you allow them to be the best that they can be and leave what they have intact. But once you've gone through 3 years of a probationary status and you have proven yourself, and then you have earned this right to have just cause presented and a full procedure allowed, any good bus driver should and need and want that kind of protection, because allegations can be alleged, and then there is an opportunity to prove yourself. There's an opportunity to defend yourself. There's an opportunity to have a chance so that it is a full right that has been earned and guaranteed. That is the dignity I ask you to leave with these bus drivers, because it is not about, it is about having the right to a just cause presentation, due process, so that it is done correctly. Anytime you're in a situation like that, when you are with our young folks, early in the morning and late in the evening, and all that goes on in today's society, you do need the protection of tenure. And for those that have it, and today we are talking about bus drivers, and please, we ask that you leave them with that right. It is something that they gain after 3 years of going through and being evaluated by an administrator, by proving themselves, they then earn that in where they are. So all we're asking is that you look at bus drivers and that you look at leaving them with this dignity and the honor of having due process.
Good morning, Chairman Bell and members of the committee. My name is Dr. Michael Walker-Jones. I'm the Executive Director of the Louisiana Association of Educators. And we are very supportive of locally initiated charter schools. We are supportive when they serve as lab schools, when they focus on development and strategies that can be transferred to other schools. We're also very supportive of corporate involvement in public schools. We believe that public charter schools can, in some instances, have programs like the ACE program, the Architects, Construction, and Engineering program in New Orleans, and the National Career Academy program designed to build schools within schools to focus on work-based instruction and many other corporate and businesses that are engaged with those schools, like they are in the schools in Caddo, and with the Thibodeau Career Technical High School in Lafayette. These are all schools where businesses are already in this state establishing partnerships with local school districts. And we applaud some of the language in HB 421 concerning the importance of business and community involvement in our schools. However, we want to make sure that it's clear that this bill is not about serving students. Neither is it about serving public education. It is about serving limited corporate interest. And from what I've heard in this hearing today, it is an opportunity for corporations to open private schools to serve their particular interest. 421 would allow corporate interests to donate land that may not have the appropriate infrastructure, for example, in place. And then we would assume then that the state then would come in, and because the land is donated now, the state, we as citizens would end up paying for that infrastructure to that corporation. We also believe, too, that 421 would allow some nonprofits up to the 50% of the seats set aside for children of employees, but it does not limit the number of employee children that can attend the school. For example, as has already been discussed, you could have more than the 50% if those particular individuals lived in the community within that particular school range. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but again, what happens when that school then closes? What happens to the community if the corporation then decided that they were going to then pull up stakes, as we've heard earlier, has happened even in the example that was given in Florida? 421 does not clearly define major renovations, again, as has been clearly articulated here today. And so again, we don't know what the public expense might be. We are very concerned, the Louisiana Association of Educators are very concerned, because we do believe in business and school partnerships. Teachers and educators all across the state in the public schools are not opposed to business and corporation and school partnerships. However, we believe that when the law is looked at in its entirety now in terms of where charter schools can and how they can be established, we think that the current law already suffices. This particular bill, this particular piece of legislation is actually not needed. Therefore, we don't see a need for this committee to do any more than to hear and justify that, yes, we think that school districts ought to be able to take up this particular cause, but we don't think that this particular piece of legislation is needed. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Monahan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I want to say good morning, but it's my first. That's okay. I am Shane Brittle. I'm with the Louisiana Association of Educators, and I may be able to answer, I think it was Mr. Carter's question, through this testimony. I'll make it brief. The Louisiana Association of Educators and the NEA has a long history of involvement in bullying and prevention efforts. The association, by mandate of its membership, has created training programs for teachers, administrators, and education support professionals on student-to-student sexual harassment and bullying, also curricula on these topics, and most recently conducted a nationwide survey of bullying with the Johns Hopkins University. And I would encourage you to go to our website, which is NEA.org, and you can download a copy of that study and take a look at it. That's NEA.org. And we are also running a campaign that's going on right now. It's called, you can find that on NEA.org. It's right on the front page. It's called It Starts With Me. And it's all about anti-bullying policy and other professional development things. Mr. Chairman, members, when it comes to bullying, our schools, the adults, can stop it. They can fix it and prevent it through these programs. And they can keep it from happening. And the LAE wholeheartedly embraces this challenge, and we are pleased that Chairman Badon has offered up this legislation and expanded on it. And I know there are amendments floating out around there somewhere. And we do support those amendments. And it's a good deal, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Joyce Haynes, president of the LAE, but speaking to you as a parent. My son is now 30 years old, and it took another student to tell me that he was being harassed every day at noon because my in-laws owned a funeral home. And he was harassed about what must happen in the evening at a funeral home. I never knew that, and I would say that it took a toll on him, for he is very much now an introvert and basically likes to talk on the internet and other things. People that hurt you because of unfound reasons or something our students go through all the time. I also had one student who went home and committed suicide. I will never know what happened in that student's life, for no one told me anything, and I did not realize that her harassment went beyond the school day. She started wearing black all of a sudden, had a relative out of New Orleans living at their home, and another best friend whose parent was a teacher. They managed to check out at not noon, but about 9:30 that day, and about 10 o'clock we received the news that she had shot herself. I personally went to that funeral home and talked to that parent, who said to me, my daughter loved your class and talked about your class every day, and I know that she loved you. That was a lot of comfort for me, but it will never allow that parent or myself or anyone else around that student to know what they had done to her so badly by harassing her day in and day out. We will never be able to answer those type questions. So I say to you, you are on the right track today. Don't falter. For our students need this. They have young lives and a lot to live for. So we don't need someone harassing them or saying ugly things to them on a daily basis that we will never know why they do the things that they do. But we do need to have a safe haven for them, and that would be our schools. So please adhere to any of the amendments, anything that will help Representative Badon get this done. And for the parent who is pushing and asking for it, it would be a great relief to her as well and all other students out there. So thank you.